Okay, so we're diving into Think and Grow Rich today. You've seen the excerpts, right? And you're probably thinking, how do I get to the good stuff quickly?
Right, to the core idea.
Yeah, exactly, without having to read every single word.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're doing here, breaking it down for you. So this book basically takes wisdom from like tons of successful people.
Hundreds. It's incredible, a range of people he interviewed.
And the goal is, helping you, the listener, to kind of unlock your own potential.
Learning from the best, right. See how they did it.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about money, though the title might make you think that. It's about a whole mindset, like a philosophy of achievement. And you can use it anywhere in life, not just business.
It's about getting what you want, whatever that might be. And the book really emphasizes this idea that the learning doesn't stop on the page.
It's like interactive almost.
Exactly. It's about your own thoughts, your own experiences, and how you interact with others.
And then there's this secret, this formula for getting rich that Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, is supposed to have figured out.
He was like the ultimate self-made man, right?
Huge success story.
Yeah.
And the secret is like sprinkled throughout the book. It's almost like we're on a treasure hunt trying to piece it together.
A little mystery to keep you engaged.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just some random idea. The book mentions endorsements from like a former president, a chief justice of the Supreme Court.
Serious, heavy hitters.
F.W. Woolworth, too, the retail giant. People who succeeded in completely different areas. So that kind of suggests these principles are universal.
They apply to everyone, no matter what you're aiming for.
Right. So what we're trying to do here is give you the essence of these excerpts.
The most powerful insights, condensed and ready to use.
So you can understand the core philosophy without getting bogged down.
A shortcut to the good stuff.
Exactly. So let's get started.
Okay, so the origin of this whole secret thing. It began with Andrew Carnegie giving the author, Napoleon Hill, this huge task.
Talk about a challenge.
Yeah, to spend like 20 years or more researching and explaining this formula for success to the whole world.
Wow. That says a lot about how important Carnegie thought this was.
He believed in it wholeheartedly. And get this, he didn't think it should be kept secret at all.
He wanted everyone to know.
Exactly. He thought it should be taught everywhere, like even in schools. He thought it could revolutionize education.
Imagine if that happened.
He believed it could drastically reduce the time people spend in school.
That would be a huge change.
A total paradigm shift. And, the book actually names several people who apparently used this secret with amazing results.
Like who?
Well, you mentioned Charles M. Schwab, a major figure in U.S. steel, which was worth like $600 million back then. That's an insane amount of money for the time.
I can't even imagine.
And then there's Arthur Nash, this tailor from Cincinnati, who managed to turn his whole business around.
Using the secret.
Supposedly, yeah. And then there's people like Stuart Austin Weir in law, Jennings Randolph in Congress, J.G. Chaplin at LaSalle Extension University, people from all walks of life.
So it's not just for business people.
Definitely not.
Huh.
It applies to any field where you're trying to achieve something big. But here's the catch. This secret isn't explicitly laid out in the book. It's kind of woven throughout, subtly revealed to those who are ready to find it.
Like reading between the lines.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a simple trick or a quick fix. It requires effort, a willingness to engage with the ideas. And for you, the listener, that means being open to seeing how these principles might apply to your own life.
So keep that secret in mind as we go along. Now, one of the first really powerful ideas the book dives into is this whole concept of the power of desire. And it starts with this story of Edwin C. Barnes, who was determined to work with Thomas Edison, and not just work for him, mind you, but to be in business with him. That's a whole different level of ambition.
Yeah, it's not just wanting a job, it's wanting to be a partner. And that speaks volumes about the nature of his desire. He was very specific about what he wanted, and that's key.
So it's not just a vague wish like, I want to be rich.
No, it has to be clearly defined, a burning desire.
And Barnes, he faced some serious obstacles, right? He didn't even know Edison personally and had no money to travel to see him.
But his desire didn't waver. That unwavering focus is essential for success, the book argues.
And he didn't just dream about it, he took action. He basically burned his bridges, the book says. He went to Orange, New Jersey with the intention of going into business with Edison no matter what.
He eliminated any possibility of retreat, which forced him to fully commit to his goal.
It's a bold move.
It is. And it highlights the power of removing any safety net, any easy way out. It makes you laser focused on finding a path to success.
It's like that story about the merchants after the Chicago fire. Some of them just left and rebuilt elsewhere.
Understandable, right?
Yeah. But Marshall Field, he was determined to rebuild his business right there in the same spot.
His desire to create the world's greatest store fueled his persistence.
He wasn't going to let a little fire stop him. It's a powerful example of how an unwavering mindset can help you overcome anything.
It shows that desire can be even stronger than the circumstances. So think about your own goals. How strong is your desire? Have you burned your bridges, mentally or even literally?
Are you all in? That's the question. Now, the next big idea is about dreams and imagination. The book basically says you have to be a dreamer to achieve big things.
You have to be able to envision a future that doesn't exist yet, but you also need tolerance and an open mind.
You can't be stuck in your ways, right?
Exactly. You have to be receptive to new possibilities. The book cautions against rigid thinking that dismisses novel ideas.
That can be a huge roadblock to progress.
Absolutely. The book presents dreamers as the pioneers of progress. People like Henry Ford, who dreamed of a horseless carriage,
Even when everyone thought he was crazy.
or Thomas Edison with his electric lamp. They both faced skepticism and a lack of resources.
But they had this burning desire to create something new.
That's what drove them forward. The book actually distinguishes between two kinds of imagination.
Two kinds.
Yeah. There's synthetic imagination, which is organizing existing ideas, combining what you already know. And then there's creative imagination, which is coming up with completely new insights.
Like pure inspiration.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
And the book says that, interestingly, it's the synthetic imagination that's more often used to turn desires into money.
So it's not just about having brilliant ideas, it's about putting them together in a practical way.
Exactly. It's about using your existing knowledge and resources strategically to create plans that work.
And it's super important to write those plans down.
Absolutely. Putting your ideas on paper gives them tangible form, making them less abstract and more actionable.
So you've got your burning desire, you're using your imagination, and you're making plans. What's next?
Well, now it's about turning those ideas into actual cash. And the book starts with this cautionary tale about the old country doctor who sold his idea for Coca-Cola for a pittance.
Oh, wow, that's rough.
Yeah, he missed out on a fortune because he didn't fully grasp the potential of his concept. The real wealth came when the new owner recognized the value and added their own business savvy to the mix.
So it's not enough to just have a good idea.
You need to be able to develop it, market it, and execute a solid plan.
Like a recipe without the right ingredient.
Precisely. And then there's this inspiring story about Dr. Frank Gonzalez, who wanted to start a new college but didn't have the money. He gave this powerful sermon called "What I Would Do If I Had $1 Million."
Catchy title.
Yeah, and it worked. His message resonated with people so much that they funded his college.
Just from hearing him speak.
Yeah, it shows that well-articulated ideas, fueled by a strong purpose and clear plans, can attract the resources you need.
So it's about the power of persuasion, too.
Absolutely. The book even mentions how entire industries, like the movies and radio, were built by people who saw the potential in new ideas and knew how to capitalize on them.
So think about the ideas you have. Are you really exploring their potential?
Are you putting in the effort to turn them into something real? That's the key. Now, once you've got your desire, your ideas, and your plans, you need to get organized. That's where the principle of organized planning in the mastermind comes in.
So it's not just about winging it.
Definitely not. The book emphasizes the need for a concrete, practical plan to turn your desire for money into its actual equivalent.
A roadmap to success.
Exactly. And a crucial part of that is the concept of the mastermind alliance.
What's that?
It's basically a team of 2 or more people who come together to share their knowledge and work towards a common goal in harmony.
Like a super think tank.
Yeah, kinda. The idea is that no one person has all the answers or all the skills needed for success.
You need different perspectives, different strengths.
Right. The book stresses the importance of surrounding yourself with people who have diverse experiences, education, abilities, and imaginations.
The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Exactly. And this mastermind group, they work together to create and refine plans, offering support and accountability.
So it's about having a team to rely on.
Yeah, and it can help you overcome setbacks, too. The book gives examples of people like James J. Hill and Henry Ford, who faced challenges but bounced back stronger thanks to the support of their mastermind groups.
It's like having a backup plan built into your plan.
Exactly. The ability to adapt is crucial, and having a diverse group of minds working together can really help with that. So think about who you could form a mastermind alliance with. Who could you collaborate with to achieve your goals?
Now, things get a little more abstract with the power of faith and
A
autosuggestion.
little more mental.
Right. The book defines faith as this eternal elixir that gives life and power to your thoughts. It's like the foundation of wealth accumulation, they say.
It's about believing in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals.
And then there's autosuggestion. That's the idea that if you repeat something to yourself enough times, your subconscious mind will start to believe it, whether it's true or not at first.
It's like programming your own mind.
The book even provides a self-confidence formula, a set of affirmations you can repeat to yourself.
To boost your belief in yourself.
And these affirmations are about having a definite purpose, taking action, being self-reliant, having a plan, using autosuggestion, and forming a cooperative alliance.
It's a whole system for building confidence and achieving your goals. But here's the thing. The book warns that your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between positive and negative thoughts.
It just accepts whatever you feed it.
Exactly. So if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts, that's what your subconscious will focus on.
That's scary.
It can be. But the flip side is that if you focus on positive thoughts and beliefs, that's what will manifest in your life.
So it's about controlling your inner dialogue.
Exactly. There's a story in the book about a guy named Joseph Grant who basically committed mental suicide. He was constantly telling himself negative things about how he was a failure, and eventually it became his reality.
So your thoughts have real power.
They absolutely do. So pay attention to your self-talk. What are you telling yourself? Are you feeding your mind positive or negative thoughts?
Now let's talk about knowledge. The book makes this distinction between knowledge and power. It says that knowledge alone isn't power, it's just potential power.
It has to be applied to become real power.
Right. You need to organize it, direct it, and use it to achieve your goals.
And the book criticizes the traditional education system for not really teaching people how to do that effectively.
Like, you learn all this stuff, but what do you do with it?
Exactly. And they use this example of Henry Ford, who was portrayed as being ignorant in a libel lawsuit.
But he actually had a deep understanding of the car industry.
Yeah, he had specialized knowledge, which proved to be far more valuable than just a general education.
So it's about focusing on the knowledge that's relevant to your goals.
Right. And the book emphasizes the importance of continuous learning, of always seeking to deepen your understanding of your chosen field.
Never stop learning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It mentions night schools, correspondence courses, all sorts of ways to keep expanding your knowledge base.
And it's never too late to learn. Right?
Definitely not. They tell this story about Stuart Austin Weir, who went back to school later in life and achieved great success.
It's inspiring to hear about people doing that. And the book also talks about the importance of marketing your specialized knowledge, of showing people how it can be valuable to them.
Like showcasing your skills.
Yeah, like this salesman who used his knowledge to become a bookkeeper, or this mother who made this amazing plan book for her son's job application. They found creative ways to present their expertise.
So it's not just about what you know, it's about how you present it.
You have to be able to sell yourself in a way. Okay, so the next principle is about leadership and service.
Leading and serving, two sides of the same coin.
The book points out this big difference in compensation between leaders and followers.
Leaders tend to earn a lot more.
And it lists these qualities of great leaders, like courage, self-control, a sense of justice, decisiveness, a willingness to go the extra mile, a pleasing personality, sympathy, understanding.
It's a whole package.
Yeah, it's not just about being bossy.
Oh, it's about inspiring people, treating them fairly, and guiding them towards a common goal.
And the book says there's been a shift towards a more cooperative style of leadership.
Moving away from that old command and control model.
More collaboration, more profit sharing.
Exactly. And it even brings up the golden rule as a guiding principle for business.
Treat others as you want to be treated.
Simple but powerful. The book also suggests that both employers and employees are ultimately serving the public.
So everyone is in service to someone.
In a way, yeah. And it emphasizes the importance of a spirit of service, of being helpful and agreeable in your interactions with others.
It's about being a go-giver rather than a go-getter.
Exactly. Building a business on genuine service and value, not just aggressive sales tactics.
Now, before we go any further, the book takes a little detour to talk about failure.
The things that hold people back.
Yeah, they analyzed thousands of failures and came up with 30 major causes.
A list of potential pitfalls.
And while most of these causes are fixable, the book does say that a bad hereditary background can be a challenge.
Like, if you were born into poverty, it can be harder to break out of that cycle.
But even then, They say that a strong mastermind alliance can help.
It's all about surrounding yourself with the right people.
So there's always hope. And there's also a bunch of self-analysis questions in the book to help you identify your own potential weaknesses.
So you can work on them.
Now, the next chapter focuses on the American opportunity and organized capital. It talks about how America offers so much freedom and opportunity compared to other countries,
Things we often take for granted.
like having enough food, clothing, shelter, transportation, the right to own property, the freedom to travel.
The basic necessities of a good life.
And it ties all of this to the idea of organized capital.
The engine of prosperity.
Right. It says that organized capital is what allows for the efficient production and distribution of goods and services.
It's the backbone of the economy.
And it addresses the criticism of Wall Street and big business, arguing that they're actually essential for creating wealth and opportunities.
They play a vital role, even if they have their flaws.
But it also warns against trying to get rich without giving anything back.
Like expecting handouts or demanding unreasonable things.
The message seems to be that America offers plenty of opportunities, but you have to be willing to work for them and contribute something of value.
Earn your success, basically.
Okay, now we get to the power of decision.
Making those tough choices.
The book uses the example of the signing of the Declaration of Independence to show how important it is to be decisive, even when the stakes are high.
Those guys risk everything for their beliefs.
They pledge their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor.
That's serious commitment.
And the book highlights the roles of John Hancock and Samuel Adams, who were instrumental in pushing for independence.
They were the driving force.
And it stresses that being able to make quick and definite decisions is a hallmark of great leaders.
It's what sets them apart.
While indecision, on the other hand, can be a major roadblock to success.
It can paralyze you.
And the book suggests that this indecisiveness is often a habit that starts young, maybe due to problems in the education system.
Not being taught how to make decisions effectively.
And it even links this lack of decisiveness and clear purpose to people ending up in jobs they hate.
Stuck in a rut.
So it's important to practice making decisions and sticking to them.
Don't be afraid to commit. And that brings us to persistence and overcoming fear.
Two sides of the same coin.
The book says that a poverty consciousness kind of develops passively, while a money consciousness requires conscious effort and persistence.
You have to work at it.
And it talks about this hidden guide that tests you with difficult experiences.
Like an obstacle course on the path to success.
And only those who persist through these challenges achieve great things.
So it's about pushing through the tough times.
Exactly. And the book lists a bunch of things that help with persistence: having a clear purpose, a strong desire, self-reliance, detailed plans, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, and good habits.
It's a whole arsenal for staying motivated.
But it also identifies a major obstacle to action: the fear of criticism.
That can be a big one.
And it often operates on a subconscious level, so you might not even realize it's holding you back.
It can sabotage your efforts before you even start.
They give examples of how this fear can limit people in their relationships, their education, their careers.
It could affect every area of your life.
But then they contrast this with people like Wallace Simpson and King Edward, who faced intense criticism but didn't back down.
They had the courage to follow their hearts.
And the book briefly touches on the 6 basic fears: poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
The things that scare us most.
And it says that indecision often makes these fears worse.
Because you're stuck in a state of worry.
So making definite decisions is a key to overcoming these fears.
Take action and face them head on.
Now, we circle back to the mastermind concept, but this time focusing on the power that comes from it.
Power in numbers.
The book defines power as organized and intelligently directed knowledge.
And it says that this kind of power is achieved through coordinated effort and harmony.
Like a well-oiled machine.
And they use the analogy of electric batteries connected together to show how multiple brains working in sync can generate more energy than one brain alone.
Synergy in action.
They highlight Henry Ford again, who achieved amazing things despite his lack of formal education.
And they attribute his success in part to his association with other great minds like Edison, Burbank, Burroughs, and Firestone.
He learned from the best.
And the book emphasizes that you tend to adopt the nature, habits, and thought patterns of those you spend time with.
So choose your company wisely.
Now, things get a little mystical with the Sixth Sense chapter. Yeah, a bit. The book describes the sixth sense as creative imagination working at a very high level.
Like a superpower.
In a way, yeah. And it says that true genius is actually developed through the conscious use of this creative imagination.
So it's not something you're born with, it's something you cultivate.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And this creative faculty, it operates on a higher level of thought, allowing you to access ideas that are beyond ordinary reasoning.
Like flashes of inspiration.
Yeah, it can feel like that. They mention examples like Edison's inventions and Dr. Elmer R. Gates, who would literally sit for ideas.
Wow, that's dedication.
And they make a distinction between synthetic imagination, which is about reasoning and combining existing ideas, and this creative imagination, which is more about intuition and breakthroughs.
So one is more logical and the other is more intuitive.
Right. And finally, we get to the mystery of sex transmutation.
This is where things get really interesting.
It's a bit of a controversial topic.
The book claims that men who achieve great things often have very strong sexual natures, but they've learned to channel that energy into other areas.
Like redirecting that drive towards their goals.
And it suggests that this transmuted sexual energy can be a major force behind creativity and achievement.
It's like a hidden fuel source.
It even says that the influence of a woman can often inspire men to accumulate great fortunes.
Love and ambition intertwined.
But it's important to note that it's not just about having a high libido.
It's about consciously channeling that energy.
And the book mentions historical examples of people using things like alcohol or drugs to try to access their creative faculties.
But it doesn't endorse that approach.
It suggests that conscious transmutation is a much better way.
A more sustainable and healthy way.
And it talks about how this transmuted energy can show up as enthusiasm in sales, personal magnetism, or the ability to influence people in public speaking.
It can manifest in different ways.
It also highlights the power of love and romance to drive people to achieve great things.
The inspiration of the heart.
And it emphasizes the powerful influence that women can have on men.
And the importance of harmonious relationships.
Okay, finally, we get to guiding the subconscious mind.
The culmination of all these principles.
The book says that the 13 principles we've discussed can be used to influence your subconscious mind through habit, especially when guided by faith.
It's about rewiring your thinking.
And it emphasizes that emotionally charged thoughts have a much stronger impact on the subconscious.
So it's not just about thinking something, it's about feeling it.
And they say it's crucial to inject positive emotions like faith, love, and this transmuted sexual energy into your subconscious through autosuggestion.
To counteract any negative influences.
And they use historical examples, like the understanding of lightning in space, to show how powerful faith can be in unlocking unseen forces.
It's about believing in things you can't necessarily see or prove.
And the book concludes by saying that the most powerful forces are often intangible, residing in the realm of the mind.
It's all about understanding and harnessing the power of your own thoughts and beliefs.
So what is this secret that the book keeps hinting at? It's not one specific thing.
It's the combination of all these principles working together.
The desire, the imagination, the planning, the persistence, the faith, the knowledge, the leadership, the service, the decisiveness, the fearlessness, the sixth sense, and the sex transmutation.
It's a whole system for achieving success in any area of your life.
So it's not about finding a magic formula. It's about embracing this whole philosophy.
And putting it into practice.
So as you've been listening to this deep dive, think about which of these principles resonates most with you.
Which one speaks to your current situation?
Which one do you think could make the biggest difference in your life?
And how can you start applying it today?
These are definitely ideas worth pondering.
And experimenting with.
Keep exploring, keep learning, keep growing. That's the real secret.
It's an ongoing journey.
Exactly. There's always more to discover.
And achieve.
So keep pushing forward.
And never stop believing in your own potential.
You've got this.
We believe in you.